welcome into the LFC Transfer Room. I'm Jack, here today to talk about some more transfer rumors for Liverpool Football Club ahead of the summer. It's the international break right now, so in the absence of football, we'll talk about some rumors because it's almost April, and that means it's almost the end of the Premier League season. It's almost the end of the Premier League season, it's almost the summer transfer window, and that means it's basically the summer transfer window right now. So let's talk about some potential transfers for Liverpool Football Club. Before we jump into it, make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. Click that notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Today's topic of discussion is going to be a player who used to play for Liverpool. It's not going to be Sterling. It's not going to be Coutinho. It's going to be Luis Suarez, a guy who left in quite positive manner, actually, after nearly leading Liverpool to a title. He left to go to Barcelona, played in the fabled MSN, Messi, Suarez, Neymar trio for Barcelona. Currently plays for Atletico Madrid at the age of 34. And there are rumors, according to Fichajes.net, that he could potentially make the move back to Liverpool this summer. So let's take a look at some of the aspects of what the transfer would look like, how he's playing this year, and whether or not it would make sense to bring him in. Well, Suarez turned 34 back in January, technically has over a year left on his contract that goes till 2022. 31 appearances, 19 goals, and 2 assists this season for Atletico Madrid. Very good return, and you can remember back when he played for Liverpool, 133 appearances, 82 goals, 47 assists, and that 2013-14 season, which is, in my estimation, the best individual season from any player in the Premier League in history. A phenomenal player on his day, and he's still world class even at the age of 34, but it's a question of, is he worth that transfer price with very few years left, being able to make an impact? Let's look at some stats before we jump into whether or not we should go after Luis Suarez. Well, looking at how his stats compare to Roberto Firmino, he is remarkably better in the amount of goals per 90 and goals per shot per 90. Basically everywhere else, though, Firmino trumps him a bit, and these stats I think were selected by me because they indicate what Liverpool's number 9s have been required to do in recent years. So Suarez would be a return to that 2013-14 era with Sturridge, with Sterling, where the striker got the majority of the chances, because he's not going to be able to press as well as Firmino. He's not going to be able to create as well. He's not going to be as good a passer as Firmino will, who is world class in every one of those aspects. So if you bring him in trying to do that, it's just a mistaken transfer. It's going to be a failure from the start. But I think if you bring him in to be the top of a 4-2-3-1, you want to have more creative options with just a poacher up front. He could be a really interesting option, in my estimation. 125,000 euros a week is what he currently makes at Atletico. That's not terrible. It's not cheap either. But if the transfer fee is not extortionate, it's 10 million pounds at the most, I would say. He might actually make sense as a 1-year, 2-year replacement for Divock Origi as a backup striker. Because Divock Origi, in the last 7 months, his only goal is against Lincoln Park. I forget which one of those is a band and which one of those is a football club. But he's not that great off the bench in terms of being able to create goals. Suarez, however, I think there'd be a lot better chance of him being able to make an impact in that regard. So if we're to look at where would Suarez be brought in to fill, if he's a backup striker, I think that makes sense. And according to the report from Fichajes.net, which I've been told by people who know more about those kinds of sources, not the most trustworthy one, but it is a source nonetheless. So how would you feel about Luis Suarez making the return to Anfield? I know that he's one of my favorite players I've ever watched wear the shirt, and if Milner leaves for Leeds, he takes that number 7 shirt back, it'd be a lot of nostalgia hitting. But does he make sense is it more of a purchase that makes sense in the head and not just in the heart? Let us know in the comments down below your thoughts on how much you would pay for him and whether or not you would even go for him as a backup option. But that's all I have for today's video about Luis Suarez. Make sure to watch some of our other content, read more of our content at LFCTransferroom.com, and get involved with us on all our socials, LFC Transfer Room. For myself, Jack, this has been a YouTube video from the LFC Transfer Room. Take care.